Okay, moving right along with the NFL team betting previews. I'm breaking down all 32 teams for the upcoming 2024-25 season, discussing over-under win totals, division and conference future bets, and some season-long player props. In this video, we're talking about the Chicago Bears, and it's got to be tough being a Bears fan. One single winning season since the 2012 season, but hope is a powerful thing here, and hope is what the Bears have a lot of going into this season. And that's what's great about the preseason. All the fans of every team have hope and high expectations. Everything is positive in the preseason, especially when you go 4-0. All the rookies look great. Teams are trending in the right direction. There's hope, or at least until week 1 of the regular season. And then reality sets in. Now, all of a sudden, teams suck. GMs had wasted draft picks. It's the complete opposite end of the spectrum. Overreaction and recency bias is maxed out. As bettors, we can take advantage of this stuff. We want to block out the noise, not fall for that unwarranted hype. We want to identify teams who might be too hyped or flying under the radar. The Bears team might be somewhere in the middle. I haven't decided who this Bears team is exactly, but the market definitely has an opinion. Last season, the Bears finished with an average point spread for all their games, just over a field goal underdog at 3.2 points. This season, they're minus half-point favorites for all their games as an average point spread, almost a 4-point difference on average point spread. That alone suggests a pretty big improvement there. The Bears open the season week 1 at home versus the Tennessee Titans, and Chicago is currently listed as 4.5-point favorites. This is the largest favorite for any rookie starting quarterback in a week 1 game in the last 25 years. So it's not just the Bears fans who have high expectations. The odds makers themselves expect the Bears to be much improved. Bears started last season 2-7, but something clicked for the Bears mid-season, and Chicago ended the year 5-3. And remember, the Bears were only 3-point underdogs in Lambeau Field in the season finale against Green Bay, who was a legit playoff team. So they do have something to build on here. Main reason for this is the Bears' offense, which compared to last season, it shouldn't be tough to improve on. Now with unanimous number 1 overall draft pick, Caleb Williams. Even though rookie quarterbacks are always hit or miss, the Bears aren't just expecting Caleb Williams to do it all here on his own. Caleb Williams might have the best set of skill position weapons of any number 1 drafted QB that I can remember. Bears had money to spend, and they did it. So there's no excuse for Caleb Williams with this skill position talent around him. They got DJ Moore. He's a 1,300-yard receiver last year. They picked up Keenan Allen and Gerald Everett, both from the Chargers. They drafted Rome Odunze at the number 9th overall pick. They still have Cole Kmet, solid tight end, who's a bit underrated in my opinion, and they signed running back DeAndre Swift. I think mobility from Caleb Williams is going to be huge for this offense, not in the way it was for Justin Fields in like the designed run game, but in and out of structured plays, scrambling, extending broken plays. The top 6 rookie QBs since 2010 all generated positive rush EPA in their first season. Now, normally I want to look towards betting unders in games or with teams involving rookie quarterbacks, but Caleb Williams isn't exactly an under-type quarterback. He played a ton of shootouts at USC, and with these weapons he has, the odds makers expect some higher scoring games here. The Bears last year had an average over-under of 42 points in all their games last season. Now this season, average total is 46 points. That's 4 points higher on average for their over-unders. Very big adjustment. Makes perfect sense. You now have a team with legit skill position players, but maybe more importantly, new offensive coordinator Shane Waldron, who was with Seattle last season, top 5 in both pass rate and pace of play. So we can expect this Bears team to run a faster offense with much more increased pass rate. The offensive line looks solid. 4 out of 5 starters are on the O-line that come back, and they upgraded at the center position, trading for Ryan Bates. Now the question, this will be a much different Bears team offensively, no question. But I expect them to be kind of airing it out. The past couple seasons, the Bears with Justin Fields at QB had the lowest pass rate in the league, fewest yards gained from passing, and fewest pass yards per game. They've been bottom 3 in pace, running one of the slowest offenses, snap to snap. Justin Fields is also one of the slowest quarterbacks as far as drop back to release time, actually the slowest. This puts a lot of pressure and stress on the offensive line, having to block more or longer, I should say. With Fields now gone, alone, this Bears team would have looked much different, but with all the pieces added, combined with Shane Waldron at offensive coordinator, it's going to be a drastic difference, and interested to see how quickly the market will catch up with this increased offense. With so much focus on the offense, the defense basically got ignored. They didn't add any new starters. They lost 11 out of the 37 sacks from last season. Losses with Yannick Ngakoue, Justin Jones, who else? Rasheem Green, the signing of free agent safety Kevin Byard, was their lone defensive splash addition, I guess. There's some questions on this defense. They finished last season strong, but they had a lot of things go their way. In the Bears' first 9 games of the season, their defense ranked 30th in EPA allowed, or expected points added allowed. 31st versus the pass, allowing 27 points per game. Dead last in third down conversion allowed over expectation. But after the midseason trade for edge rusher Montez Sweat, these defensive numbers all started to improve drastically. Not saying Montez Sweat was the reason for this change, but it was right around that time of the trade the Bears defense started to change pretty drastically. And Montez Sweat, too, not sure this has ever happened before, but he started the season with Washington, led them in sacks, got traded to the Bears, and then led them in sacks. Can't imagine any player leading 2 different teams in sacks in the same season. The strongest part of this defense, in my opinion, is the secondary, led by stud hybrid cornerback Kyler Gordon. He's technically like a cornerback, or I guess like a nickelback, but he's different. They blitz him from up in the box or on the strong side against the run. This is a young, legit secondary. At one corner, they have Pro Bowler Jalen Johnson. At the other is second-year man Ty Stevenson, who's coming off a solid rookie season. Now, here's the tricky part. With this Bears defense, remember, first 9 games or first 9 weeks, the defense was basically the second worst overall defense in the league. The last 9 weeks, they were top 3 unit. This was heavily aided by turnovers. In the last 8 games of the season for the Bears, they forced 20 turnovers and had the 3rd most expected points added from turnovers, which includes 2 pick sixes. They ended the season with the most INTs with 22. There's a lot of luck and randomness involved with turnovers, and it can disguise a team's true ability. Is a defense really good if they allow an opposing offense to drive the ball 80 yards down the field, but it results in a tip ball INT at the goal line? That's something that needs to be factored in when evaluating the Bears defense, because it's not likely that type of turnover luck they had in the final 8 games will continue into this season. So the question is, was this improved defense late in the season just a fluke, or was it real? You know, watching their first couple preseason games, I want to lean towards being it real, but again, we're talking preseason. Also, I talked a lot about things going their way. Not everything went their way. They were only 2-6 in one-score games, and their overall metrics were that of a much better 7-10 record. And check this out. This is crazy. I posted this in the Discord late last year, but in the NFL last season, teams had a record of 182-9 when holding a fourth quarter win probability of higher than 80%. The Bears alone accounted for 3 of those 9 losses. Just based on fourth quarter win probabilities, the Bears should have been a 9.5 win team, not 7. That 2.5 game difference made the Bears the second biggest underachiever in the league last season. It didn't help Chicago finish with the largest net penalty differential in the league, negative 19 yards per game lost due to penalties. The NFC North division is tough at the top with Detroit and Green Bay, but it's not a very tough schedule outside the division. The Bears do have a few short rest games, but based on my ratings, I have the Bears with the 7th overall easiest strength of schedule. It's actually the perfect schedule you'd want for a rookie quarterback to start his career. The Bears face the easiest strength of schedule of any team for the first 10 weeks of the season. And look at some of these teams here. They're likely to play the 5 worst teams in the league this season in the first 10 weeks. And they're basically all at home, too. They get a bye week in week 7 and play 7 of their first 11 games at home in Soldier Field. Or on a neutral field in London. They'll also get Jared Goff in Soldier Field outdoors late December. Members of the Discord know how I feel about Goff outdoors in bad weather. Bears special teams gets an upgrade with last year's Ray Guy Award winner for best punter in the nation, the kid from Iowa whose name I'm forgetting right now. Their kicker Kai Santos, he's solid, which is important. Soldier Field, where the Bears play, isn't exactly an easy stadium to kick in. I mean, after all, it's the Windy City, but he's made 11 of 13 field goals from 50-plus yards last few years. There's a lot to like about this Bears team, but unfortunately, they're not sneaking up on anyone as the odds makers have them with high expectations. Bears listed at 9.5 wins are the most wins of any top drafted quarterback since 2002. That started at least 9 games in their rookie season. Last season, Panthers with Bryce Young came into the season with the highest win total of 7.5 games. That was the highest win total for any of the previous top drafted quarterbacks that started at least 9 games. The Bears and Caleb Williams are listed at 9.5 wins, which smashes that previous high of 7.5 wins. Now, of course, Bryce Young and the Panthers were a massive disappointment, but the next 5 highest win totals of drafted quarterbacks all exceeded expectations, going over their listed win totals, and all actually made the playoffs. So the Bears are favorites to make the playoffs. Not a whole lot of value for a team who's only had 1 winning season in the last decade, but it's a team I want to root for. It definitely seems like a team that's bought into head coach Eberflus and what he's pitching. I think they'll play hard. If you watch to the end, I really appreciate it. Hope you guys are getting something out of these team previews. A lot more teams to go. If you could give this video a like or a comment, I'll be back with the next team preview shortly.